You're a very weird person, you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Greetings, scale modelers. Welcome to another quick and dirty build and review. Today's episode is going to focus on Revell's 148 scale B25J Mitchell bomber, and these are widely available at Hobby Lobby stores. I'll be doing a series of videos of Hobby Lobby kits, and this one I'm doing as a custom build. I acquired some aftermarket decals from Kits World in Britain, and I have the decal set for Alan Arkin's B25 Dumbo from the 1970 film CATCH-22, the novel by Joseph Heller, who himself was a bombardier on a B25. So this is going to be a movie star, Mitchell, and let's get into this build and see what this Revell 48 scale kit is all about.
Hello, this is the bombardier here. We're gonna turn back.
The Revell Hobby Lobby B25 kit has 147 parts, and the instruction format is the familiar early 2000s Revell art setup. So the pictures are well drawn, and the instruction steps, you don't even need language to explain them. So I enjoy that. And now, so that's consistent with the Spitfire and the Stuka models that I've built. You should check out those videos as well, because this is overall a very good series of kits that are available at everyone's local Hobby Lobby. When you build this B25 kit from Revell Hobby Lobby Edition, be advised that these things are stuck to the sprues with such thickness that you're really going to have to saw through them. And this is a semi-sharp hobby knife blade. Scale modelers, this is a message from the future for your benefit. You're going to see many parts in this B25 kit that are supposed to be painted with a color K, except on the color legend, they don't tell you what K is. It is an olive green color that is a little bit more vivid than olive drab. And here is Tamiya olive drab. And the closest thing I have in my collection, so you're going to see this as I work on the kit, all of the parts that are marked with K, I'm going to be using Vallejo's Luftwaffe green. And you're going to have to figure out your own, but if you look up Revell B25 online like I did, you will see that someone went to the effort to figure out what it is. And this is my choice going forward, and you're going to have to figure out your own. What I'm doing right now is I'm just using a tip that I picked up from another good modeling video. Is I'm just putting a dab of white, Elmer's style glue on each of the cockpit dials, so it makes it look like they've got, glass lenses on them. And my cockpit is not detailed extremely well or anything like that, and I just put a little dab of white paint pen on each of the dials, so that you could see the dials from the cockpit window. Let's say if you're like a judge at a model show and you're looking over Jim Potts' creation, that kind of thing. So, and also too, like the first steps of the model when you're putting the fuselage together, you're going to see a lot of opportunity to detail the inside of the airplane. But the way the B25 set up, you're not going to be able to see any of that after you build the model. So you might not even want to bother with painting the interior of the fuselage, or you might only want to paint the parts that you can see from the side gunner windows. And that's one of those things too where you could spend hours on it and you'd have fun doing it, but after you build the model, you're never going to see it. So I mean, that's where I'm taking that into account right now, because I'm going light on detailing my inner fuselage. The stuff that was easy to highlight, I'm doing that with paint pen. But beyond that, I'm not going to weather the inside of this when all you're going to see is the outside. So, you know, that's one of those decisions that you are free to make as you're putting these together. You know, maybe you'd have more fun just skipping that step and getting the outside looking good. That's up to you.
That sounds like a lot of crap to me.
It is a lot of crap, son.
The Revell B25 is going to use two different strut bars that'll go into the wing assemblies to give a strong connection for that, hopefully. And the approach I'm taking here is to dry fit and then just to hold it in place and do the cement and see how that works out. After that, then the two bombs will go on this bomb rack. Here's progress so far. The wings so far look fine to me, and another modeler had to do a lot of putty on his where the wing met the fuselage. But this gap right here, if I were going to putty it all on both sides, well, actually on all four sides of the nacelle, there's an arguable case for puttying those. So the fit on that was the only place where there was an issue. But as far as like building it and getting it to fit together correctly, that was okay. But this cosmetic is pretty nasty. Also too, I did need to do a little bit of extra pinching to get the smaller section ahead of the cockpit to hold together. So I've given that overnight with the clamp on it, so hopefully that's the last time I need to cement that. Look at that fine assembly. Each of these pieces had a 90-degree little plastic rod that went into this part, and that helped it go in there and correctly. And also too, parts on here fit into one another so that it was indexed correctly without any guesswork. So that's how this came together as well as it did. When I was drying it off, when it was drying though, I did set it vertically like this for each of the pieces to get it to come out the way that it did. If you were to ask me what parts should you spend your time on in the early assembly and detailing process, well, the cockpit's huge, and the instrument panel, that's going to be easy to see through the canopy, and the area around the turret, so you know where you see the hole cut, maybe a couple inches on either side of that would be worth doing, and even that's probably overkill. But for the waist gun, I wouldn't detail anything in there. Like, so anything between here and here, you know, if you care about saving time, don't even touch those things. But really, the tail gunner area too, just to be careful and get that looking good, because that is quite visible and it's kind of cool looking too. So just, you know, that's where I would spend some time. I would spend time here, I would spend time here. All this stuff, completely meaningless. You can't see it through there, and that the gun in the window is going to block out any detail work that you would have done. So if you're a time-saving person, here's where you save your time, right there between the turrets.
I don't want
What do you mean you don't want it? Why the hell don't you?
I don't know, I just don't want it.
I found a technique that's helping me out a lot with this. I'm masking the nose glass in blazing sunshine because it's letting me see the marked off lines through the tape, and that's helping me get a better job done on that. So maybe late afternoon is a good time to do your canopies. I'm really liking the way this is coming out now that I picked up on the technique. Got everything laid out for the first coat of olive drab. I gotta get some of these things green, but a lot of the underside is going to be gray. And the glass piece is very well, it was fun to work on, but you just got to go slow. And I'd say I got it about 85% right. And I think I'm ready for that B-29 kit next. The engine and the cowling assembly are pretty clear on assembly. You don't cement the propeller shaft, which is usually the case. And there is a good little index tab at the base of that cowling so that the other engine cover will index properly. So that's pretty nice. In the tail section, I needed to shave off the sidewalls of the armor plate for the tail gunner in order to get the tail assembly to pop in with the fuselage properly. So be advised that you may need to do that in your situation, because I feel like I got the armor plate in there really tight, and even so I still had to trim it. In the mechanical sense, the wings and the body went together fairly well, but there are some gaping holes that are just too big to ignore. There's a big gap there, although the camera's not really showing it very well, and these are not level with each other. So, you know, there's a big ridge here where one half is sized differently than the other, so I got to do something about that. So this may be the first time I use a whole tube of putty on one single model, but this one needs it. The gaps are big enough that I have resorted to just pushing the putty in with my finger instead of I was using my hobby knife blade, but these cracks are so big, you just put putty on your finger and smooth it in. I am ready to mask this off and hit it with primer, and I used the basic Tamiya putty, and here are the areas where I had problems with fit. You can just see where the white putty is. You can see the nacelles, the rear ends of the nacelles. There were big cracks there. You know, there was a visible gap there, and here there was a huge gap. And beneath, that area needed a lot of putty, and right there. And I did need to sand the area that you see there. Boy, the biggest thing you're going to spend time on here is whittling off those sprue areas that you had to get them loose with. I mean, they're so thick that you're going to spend all your time whittling those away. That's a big part of it. I only used one coat of putty for this. I hear about other people having to do a lot of them and letting it dry overnight. I just let this dry for a couple hours and then sanded it off with some, let's see what the grit of the paper is. Oh, 320 grit. That's what's been working pretty well for me. And I'm ready to prime this and get the Army paint job on it.
Unconsciously, and
I am so happy about how this canopy came out. And check out that front nose. There's a little gap there that I got to figure out still. But, I mean, you can see in there really well. This is, I love how this came out. It reminds me of a song. You are so beautiful to me.
That sounds like a lot of crap to me.
It is a lot of crap, son.
As far as the front nose canopy, the bombardier area, Yossarian's area, I missed a couple of spots I covered up where I should have had the tape cut off with my hobby knife. So I'm just gonna go ahead and hand paint these instead of remasking everything. So I hope that turns out okay. I had to reposition the bombardier area, and there's a pretty good crack there, so I'm gonna have to putty that a couple of times and then repaint everything. So I did cover up the hatches with some stock styrene, and I just wanted to share with you, I'm using Plastistruct stock styrene, and it's in Des Plaines, Illinois, right by Morton Grove, where Revell Monogram used to be. And the product is Plastruct, and you can get it on hobbylink.com. Here's what the waist guns look like. I'm never going to see the receivers of the machine guns after the windows go in, and one of these was Snowden's.
That's the kind of humor in the face of adversity that keeps America strong.
This kit is intended as a wheels down build, so I'm using some stock styrene, and I'm going to have to do a little bit of putty around those and sand them off. And in the case of this, I'm going to have to whittle that edge off with a sharp knife once I have a sharp blade back on there. So yeah, for my wheels up job, I have to fix the 2 hatch holes. These are usually ladders that come down with the Revell kit. I've done about a half dozen applications and sandings of putty, and I've got this underside about to the 85% mark, which is about my quality level. So I think I'm going to shoot some primer on this and keep on moving with the project. I made the smooth move of pushing the landing gear door into the nacelle, and I had such a hard time trying to get it out of there, I just gave up on it, and I trimmed out another piece of Plastruct stock styrene to fill in for that. Here's the one that I didn't lose, and it looks worse than the stock styrene. So this is coming together, but not perfect, and my builds are never perfect anyway, but at least that fabricated part looks semi-good. Now I got to repaint the gray after I did the putty job. So there's a lot of putty joints along here that I got to cover up with the Tamiya Sky Gray. Okay, I sprayed the nacelle, and you take off the AK putty, and well, the lining isn't so good on that side, but over here, take a look at that. That is pretty damn sharp. AK camouflage putty, people. I'm going to be doing the Dumbo B25 in flying position without the landing gear, so it's going to be wheels up. And the center of gravity seems to be this back of the bomb bay, and it just so happens that there's a nice flat spot of styrene that I can hopefully drill through and get it working that way. So time to get going. All right, here's the spot in the bomb bay. You can see the drill hole where I'm doing my display stand, and that's where it fit in, just behind where the bombs are, that little bulkhead there, aft of that. And this is, well, for CATCH-22 purposes, this is so Colonel Dreidel can see how tight our bomb formation was, because that right there is the bomb drop camera that, you know, it's just like a gun camera, so you can see what damage you wrought. And this captures the tight bomb formation that Yossarian Squadron was able to place into the ocean before heading home to meet the actual enemy. All right, here's the tail gun section, and the canopy part looks really good, but where it fits in right here is lopsided. Or I put the fuselage together wrong, but whatever it is, there's a gap there I got to figure out how to fill. I don't know how wise or unwise it is, but I'm whittling down a toothpick to fill in that gap on the starboard side. That thing is really sticking out like a sore thumb to me. I have tried 2 times now with Tamiya heavy cement to get this on there, and since it is screwed it up for a second time, I'm going back to my old faithful. So if Elmer sticks, let that be a lesson to you. Always keep that stuff close by, because yeah, supposedly the industry standard, it's not always that good. I picked up a multi-pack of these little Scotch super glues that are in gel form, and I want to thank the YouTuber that turned me on to them. And right now I wish I had their name, but my biggest topside gaps here that I really wanted to take care of so that the model looked its best, Right here, and in the same spot right here, and right behind the canopy right there. I just put this on, and it does give you work time. And in the cracks, I just use my round toothpick to push them in. And you know, I've got some fine sandpaper that I can work it down with and then repaint the olive drab. And let's just take a quick look. The side canopy's coming out nice. I freehanded that, and that's not perfect, but it looks better than having missed the detail. So this baby is coming along, and I had to hit a spot that I missed right there, and that came out well as well. I just wanted to show you the top turret assembly, and the glass for that fit onto the 4 little contact points really nicely. Other things on this model haven't fit so well, and which really, I mean, most modelers can fix those things, but I'm still trying to get better at fixing fit problems. And that turret looks really good. The decal sheet from Kit's World, it lets you do 2 different planes from the CATCH-22 movie. Yossarian and McWatt's plane, Dumbo, and the Berlin Express. Now, Dumbo is a static display at an Air Force base in Montana, and Berlin Express reportedly still flies, and it's at the EAA Museum in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So it's pretty fun that these 2 planes are still around, and these decals look great. So I'm not even going to touch the Revell ones. I'm going to save those for my my decal file, and I'm going to use these. These really look sharp, and they do include the red vertical stripe, but I already painted that on mine, so I guess I'll save those for another model. Now right here, I think this shot clinches it. This is from the initial takeoff scene, and that confirms this is the Dumbo plane. And over here, that in my GoPro, it looks like there's a yellow to it, but really it's just rust. And so I think this needs to just have like rust weathering over olive drab, instead of having it be red or yellow or any separate color. So I think this squadron had stock green planes with a red line along the cockpit, of the red vertical line that you see on the Doolittle planes as well. And I think that's just going to be rust weathering around the nacelle cowling.
Yo, Sally, maybe it's some kind of strategy thing.
Now, I usually do my stands. You see how that's just a straight vertical there with the Spitfire. With this one, we're going to be like, you know, like it's on a bomb run. So I'm going to try this out with a slant first. I can always fill it in and re-drill it if I don't like it, but I kind of want it like it's on a bomb run. You know, like dropping bombs in the ocean. Now, my tail machine gun barrels, they broke off early in the process because I flipped the model over so many times, you know, getting it painted. But the good thing is, depending on which version of the B25 you do, I was left with many spare machine gun barrels to replace the ones that snapped off. I knew those weren't going to survive the painting process, and they did not. But barrels to spare. So to sum it up, the Revell B25 Mitchell, it's a real chore because of the way the parts fit together. Decals are very good, that's a high point, but parts fit, you'll be shaving and doing all kinds of chicanery to get this thing to look right. But the Kit's World decals, fantastic, and it was just so much fun reliving the CATCH-22 insanity, well, and the truth of it.
A lot of you may ask yourselves, how come we're out to destroy a town that has no industry? No enemy bases, no strategic value to anyone.
And, you know, studying up on Joseph Heller. And I now have Yossarian's B25 on my shelf, and I couldn't be happier. This has been another Quick and Dirty Building Review. Thanks for watching. Bye.